Our story begins with a legendary dragon who lived for thousands of years, possessing immense powers that made him the strongest creature in the world at that time, to the point that no one could stand against him, and even kings and knights trembled when they heard his name. But suddenly a group of humans attacked him, managed to bind him with chains, and their leader stepped forward and thrust his sword into his heart. And the dragon said in sorrow, "I have never done anything to make humans attack me. On the contrary, I always help them in their wars against monsters." And the dragon felt betrayed, and his body began to collapse gradually until he died completely. But suddenly the dragon opened his eyes and found himself in the body of a newborn child, in a quiet village far away from the world, with his father, mother, and older brother around him, all very happy about him, and they named him Dolan. And Dolan lived in a human body with the powers of the great dragon inside him. After 16 years, Dolan had become a grown young man, waking up in his house separated from his family. Because it was the custom of the village that anyone who reached 15 years old had to live alone, so he washed his face to start his work as a farmer in the fields. And one day after finishing his work, he went to meet his older brother so they could hunt together. Dolan told him, "I will go to the swamp to investigate the reason behind the disappearance of the lizards. Because the lizards had always visited our village from time to time, but they had disappeared recently. So I suggested to the village chief that I investigate the matter." And his brother told him, "The mission is difficult for you, and the forest will be dangerous these days, and there is no need for you to go yourself." But Dolan replied, "Do not worry about me. The commander Balin and the soldiers are busy these days securing the village, and there is no one else who can handle this mission." And while they were talking, Dolan's fishing rod hooked a fish, and he managed to catch a big one. After that, Dolan went to his house to cook the fish he had caught. And we learn that there are many monsters near the village. But there are not enough soldiers to protect it, so Dolan offers his help to the villagers. And after a while, a young girl goes to Dolan's house and knocks on his door, reminding him that today is their magic training, and this girl is the granddaughter of the village witch Magoro. So the two of them go to the witch Magoro, who teaches them magic, and Dolan begins testing his magic, chanting some spells, and he manages to release an arrow of energy from his hand and destroy the target successfully. So Magoro praises his performance and tells him, "Your magic is strong as usual, but now we will train the thing you struggle with the most in magic, which is magical potions." So Dolan smiles and tells her, "I am ready to learn anything." At sunset, Dolan goes to meet the village chief, and there he meets a girl his age. And the chief introduces her to him and says, "This is Christina, who came from the magic academy in the city, and she will stay with us for a short time." And Christina extends her hand to greet him, and when Dolan shakes her hand, he feels something strange toward her, but he does not give it much importance. After that, Dolan heads toward his family's house, and while walking he says, "The weather is hot in summer and cold in winter. I did not expect humans to live in such harsh environments." And when he arrives, he finds his brother and mother waiting for him, and he gives his mother the fish he caught today, and she thanks him for all this food. After his mother prepares the meal, Dolan sits with his family to eat, and his father suggests that since he lives alone, he should marry someone to take care of him like his older brother did. But Dolan wants to enjoy his youth a little, and is not planning to marry so young. And his younger brother asks, "Are you really going to the swamp tomorrow?" And he replies, "Yes, we must find out where the lizards went." But his mother worries about him because the road is dangerous and the forest is full of even more dangerous monsters. But Dolan reassures her that he will be careful and that he will only investigate and return quickly. And his father looks at him and smiles, wishing him safety. The next day, the villagers stand to bid Dolan farewell, and the commander feels regret for not being able to help and says, "I wished I could come with you. But unfortunately, if a monster attacks the village, we will be in big trouble." And while they are standing, Magoro approaches Dolan and tells him that her magic predicts something bad will happen and asks him to be careful. So Dolan thanks them, bids the villagers farewell, and sets off. After that, Dolan reaches the swamp, but finds it almost completely devoid of life. So he removes his gloves and places his hand in the water, and suddenly he senses movement among the trees. So he places his hand on his sword, and prepares for battle at any moment, saying to himself, "Only strong monsters can survive in the harsh conditions of this swamp." And suddenly he catches sight of a snake tail in front of him, so he quickly draws his sword and stands ready to attack. Suddenly a girl appears before him, half human and half snake, a type of monster called Lamia, and Dolan stands before her surprised by what he sees because Lamia monsters do not live in swamps at all, and the creature begins making strange movements. And Dolan looks at her, not understanding what she is doing, and keeps watching until she becomes tired. And she tells him, "I did not come here to fight you." But suddenly their conversation is interrupted by the giant swamp monster, who tries to strike her with his hand. And Dolan runs quickly and attacks it, managing to cut off its arm with his sword. And he grabs the girl's hand and they flee quickly, hiding behind a massive rock so the monster cannot see them. And Dolan covers her mouth so the monster will not hear her, and gestures toward her visible tail so she pulls it back, and the monster keeps searching everywhere until it grows tired and leaves. After the monster leaves they both relax and the Lamia introduces herself to Dolan saying I am Selena from the Lamia race, and Dolan asks her I heard that Lamia possess special powers, what is your ability? And she replies I can control objects with my eyes, and I can also summon giant snakes from the ground, besides having various magical powers, but I am very afraid of facing monsters. So Dolan suggests that he attack the monster himself while she supports him with her magic. Then they both prepare to defeat the monster, and once Dolan gives Selena the signal they charge at it together. But the monster fires arrows from its body at Selena, so Dolan runs to her quickly and manages to block the attacks at the last moment. Then Selena uses her magic and summons a giant snake from beneath the ground that wraps around the monster to restrain it. But the monster breaks free and destroys the snake, and fires its arrows at Dolan. Yet Dolan dodges the attacks, leaps at it with his sword and splits it into two halves. And after finishing he goes to Selena, and thanks her for her help in defeating the monster. And while they are talking Dolan notices glowing magical crystals. At night they sit together in the forest, and Selena asks him are you not afraid of me? And Dolan replies no you are different from the other Lamia I know. Usually Lamia are more hostile toward humans, and he pauses for a moment and asks her there is no Lamia village near here. What are you doing in this place? And she tells him in our traditions any Lamia who turns 17 must leave the village to search for a husband, so I left my village. The Lamia race consists only of females and we rarely give birth to males. Our origin comes from a human girl who was cursed by witches one day, and the curse did not stop there, it continued to be inherited until this day. Our bodies are also incredibly strong and we possess powerful venom. By the way my mother is a Lamia and my father is a human like you, and they are still living in harmony together. After that Dolan stands before Selena to bid her farewell, and she tells him I will head south, to continue my journey and search for a husband, and Dolan tells her I will return to my home now. I hope that after you finish your journey, and find a husband you will come visit our village. I want to introduce you to my family. And Selena looks at him, smiles, raises her hand, and waves goodbye. The next day, two humans were walking along the road, and they saw Selena walking in front of them, so they kindly asked her how can you travel alone when you are this young? And Selena replied to them with a smile do not worry about me I am very strong. And suddenly the two of them noticed her tail, so they looked at each other in terror and shouted loudly Lamia, and ran away quickly. So Selena felt sad and looked down at the ground, because all humans are afraid of her. On the other side, Dolan was sitting with Eri practicing making magical potions under the supervision of their teacher Maguro. But Dolan failed like every time and apologized to Maguro for his repeated mistake. So Eri stood up and tried to comfort him so he would not feel more discouraged. And Dolan smiled at her and thanked her for her kind words and promised them that he would work harder on himself and try to improve his accuracy in handling magical recipes. And he said to himself when I was a dragon I was not interested in potions at all. And that explains my strength in magic and my weakness in delicate tasks. After Dolan finished his training session in magical potions, he ran quickly to catch up with his sword training, and he arrived to his friend Albert to train with him, who was sitting training some of the village children, and Albert gave them a break to begin training with him. So the children went to Dolan to show him their skills in using the spear, and Dolan looked at them and smiled, and while they were standing Dolan suddenly felt that a monster was moving in the forest. So he decided to go investigate the matter at night, so he would not scare the villagers. At night, Dolan took his sword and his lantern and headed toward the forest, saying the movement I felt in the morning was definitely a monster's movement. And while he was walking he came face to face with Selena, and Selena looked at him and was very startled. They both sat together for a while and Dolan asked her what are you doing here? You told me that you would head south to search for a husband. And she replied to him sadly that was indeed my plan. But when I met some humans I was afraid because I do not know how to deal with them. Yet I gathered my courage and greeted them. But they were afraid of me and ran away, because I am a monster. So I decided to look for you, because you are the only one who accepted me as I am. Dolan offered her a plan, which was that she come live with them in the village. And he told her that to carry this out you must not frighten the villagers. For example you could leave them gifts so they know you are kind. And Selena listened to these words with shock and confusion, because she is just a monster, and if she enters the village she will scare its people. And they might attack her. But Dolan reassured her and told her that there are demi-humans living with them. So Selena became happy because she wishes to live with people who accept her. After 3 days, Commander Balin stood before some dead animals and fish on the ground, and wondered about the appearance of food like this for 3 consecutive days, and his assistant Maleta noticed traces of a large snake on the ground, and said I saw the shadow of a girl yesterday in the forest. So when Balin heard that, he was certain it was a Lamia monster, but he was surprised that she left her prey here in the village. After that, Balin went to inform the village chief and explained that they must gather all the soldiers to eliminate this Lamia. So the chief told him Lamia monsters are dangerous, and in this village there is only you and a few soldiers. So it is better that we request reinforcements from the city. But Maguro objected to both of them, because Lamia are known for aggression, and it is strange that she leaves them gifts like food and other things, and there must be a reason for her actions. And Maguro held the magical prediction orb and contemplated it, and reassured them that nothing bad would happen to them soon, and most likely this Lamia monster is not dangerous. When Dolan learned about this, he quickly went to Selena to tell her, and said, now we will begin the final stage of our plan. Because with the success of the gift plan, the villagers' fear has lessened a little, and the danger of reinforcements coming from the city has become unlikely, and Maguro's predictions do not fail. And now I will lure one of the monsters to me until it attacks me, and at that moment you will appear with your power, and pretend that you are saving me, and when the villagers see you they will know that you are kind, and there is nothing to fear from you. The next day, Commander Balin gathered the soldiers at the edge of the forest, and gave them a speech about the danger of the Lamia monster. And as the soldiers hear, they must defend the village with all their strength, so they will train and try to confront her if she attacks them. And Dolan said to himself, there are many soldiers here, and that is in our favor because we will need them for our plan to succeed. But the whole problem is Letitia, the envoy of the witch Mariel, who is the strongest witch in our world, and everyone must obey her. And if she declares that Selena is evil at any moment, then the soldiers will attack her and kill her, but I am relying on Selena to act wisely. On the other side, Selena was sitting in the forest watching them, but she was nervous and her body was trembling with fear after Dolan asked her yesterday to save him when he lures one of the monsters to him, so that it would appear that she protects humans instead of harming them, and Selena waited anxiously for Dolan's signal. While she was sitting watching them, one of the soldiers shouted loudly and ran to Commander Balin, informing him that the monster has appeared. So Dolan looked surprised because he did not give Selena the signal. And Selena asked herself in confusion, is there another Lamia here besides me? But suddenly a giant armored bear stormed into the village, interrupting their thoughts, and the soldiers looked at it, and at its massive body in terror. So Balin ordered them that none of them should approach it, or even think about attacking it, because this bear can kill them with a single blow easily. The soldiers all fled, but one of the children who were present during the escape stumbled. And the surprise is that this child is Commander Balin's son. And the bear approached him and roared in his face, and raised its hand to strike him, so Dolan ran quickly toward him to save him. But suddenly Selena appeared and took the blow in their place, and the soldiers looked at the scene in shock because the Lamia monster is the one who saved them. And Selena used magic from her eye and managed to control the bear, and ordered it to return to the forest again, and the bear obeyed her magic and left. Balin stood stunned at what he saw, but he soon drew his hammer and ordered Selena to stay away from his son and Dolan defended her and told them, she saved us a moment ago, no one should hurt her. I will not move from here and I will not leave her injured like this. And Balin was surprised by Dolan's response, and asked Selena, were you the one leaving food for us? And if so, why did you do that? And why did you save my son and Dolan? And she replied, yes, I was the one who left the food. I just want to ask you for one request, to live in your village in peace. I followed the rules of our village and went on a journey, but I did not expect traveling to be this difficult for me. Do not worry about me, I will not harm anyone. My father is human and my mother is Lamia, and they love each other very much. The soldiers realized that she is truly not a dangerous monster at all. But Balin asked Letitia, what is your opinion on this matter? But suddenly Letitia received a decision from the witch Mariel that the Lamia before them is not evil and that they can live together in peace. So Letitia went to Selena and welcomed her, and Selena tried to thank her. But she was affected by the wounds she had from the bear and fainted. After they treated her, they took her and went to her new house, and Selena looked at the house in great amazement, and when she entered it she admired it even more, and thanked them for this beautiful home. So Dolan went and introduced himself to her in front of the humans, as if they were seeing each other for the first time, and Selena looked at him with tears of joy in her eyes, and thanked him for his kindness toward her. At night, while Dolan is sleeping, he dreams that he goes to his friend from the previous world, the sorceress Mariel, and she tells him, a long time has passed since the last time I saw you. You seem to have been strongly influenced by human traits. You surprised me when I learned that you became enjoying your new life, because you were always feeling bored. So he replies to her, the moment the human sword pierced my heart, I felt it was my end, but when I returned to life as a human, I realized that humans live every day as if it were the last day of their lives. Living with them is strange and different, but it is full of happiness. By the way, Thank you for agreeing that Selena lives with us. Without your order the humans would have killed her. After that, Dolan wakes up from sleep to Selena suddenly entering his house. And she tells him get up come on because we are gonna plant the land today. We promised Christina, the girl from the academy, that she would come with us. By the way, why do you look so happy today? So he replies to her, I had a dream about an old friend of mine. He told me kind words. On the other side in the city, one of the maids goes to the headmistress of the Magic Academy, and she has a letter from Christina. So the headmistress takes the letter from her and reads it, and it is written in it, to Headmistress Olivia, some time has passed since I lived in the village. This village faces dangers that threaten its safety. Therefore training in combat is essential for the villagers. Despite the harsh conditions here, the people are kind and treat me well, even though I am not one of them. At the same time, Christina is training in combat with Melita, the assistant of Alon. But very easily Christina is able to defeat her in combat. So Melita stands up and praises her, and tells her I have never seen a girl with your strength before. Even your way of using the sword truly impressed me. Since you defeated me, I will invite you to food as a reward for you. At night, Christina is sitting on her bed, but she cannot sleep easily, so she decides that she will get up and train using the sword a little. So Dolan and Selena see her and decide to go with her, and Selena asks her why are you training at such a late time like this? But Christina is sad and does not answer her, so Selena suggests that she comes to visit her house so she can forget her worries. After that, the three of them go to Selena's house, and Selena shows her her modest house, especially her bed because she loves it, because it is comfortable and can make her relax, and she suggests that they share the bed together so she can forget the worries she has, and after that they sit and talk a little, and Selena tells her as a Lamia, I was worried that the villagers would love me or not, but every time I got to know them more their love for me increased, and this made me very happy in the village. On the other side, Headmistress Olivia is happy that Christina is living a happy life in the village, and after a while Olivia goes out to the party organized by the Magic Academy, and she finds news that Christina met the Lamia monster spreading in the place, so Olivia feels annoyed by the speed of the news spreading. One of the witches who works in the government, whose name is Karin, goes to her, and asks her to know more about the Lamia that Christina met, so Olivia listens to her request in surprise, and asks her why are you concerned with this matter? So she replies these monsters are dangerous to humans, and we do not want to ignore the threat that this Lamia might cause. Humans should not live with monsters at all. Besides we have not solved the disappearance cases happening in the city and she might be the reason for this. So Olivia reassures her that this Lamia is kind and will not harm anyone. Besides the sorceress Muriel allowed this. But Karin insists on her opinion, and orders one of her followers to go and bring that Lamia immediately. At the same time, Selena is sitting with Dolan and Christina planting the land, and suddenly a soldier goes to them and summons them to the village gate for an important matter. So the three of them gather themselves and run there, and they find the guard captain and the official responsible for the village standing in front of them, and he tells them we will arrest this Lamia and take her to the general government to make sure of her danger. So Dolan asks him why do you want to take her even though the sorceress Muriel allowed this, but the guard captain insists on his words, because these are protection procedures. So when Dolan despairs of him, he asks to go with them to the government, so he does not leave Selena alone in such a situation, so the guard captain agrees. After they leave, Christina says to herself I am worried about them. I should go to Headmistress Olivia and talk to her about this matter, because she has influence in the general government and she will definitely act, so Christina activates wind magic and runs at an incredible speed toward the city. At night, while Dolan and Selena are riding the carriage, Dolan tries to reassure her a little, because he felt that Selena was worried. So she tells him I am sad because I caused you many problems, even because of me you had to leave the village and go this whole distance. So Dolan moves closer to her to reassure her, and Selena looks at him with tears in her eyes. On the other side, Christina reaches Headmistress Olivia, and asks her to talk to her about the arrest of Selena. So Olivia reassures her that nothing will happen to Selena as long as she has the approval of the sorceress Muriel, but the witch Karin is the one who wanted her, because she sees her as a threat to humans, and that she may be involved in the recent disappearance incidents happening, and as long as Karin said this, then she must be arrested, so Christina looks at her in shock. At the same time, one of the soldiers goes to Selena and Dolan, and tells them the guard captain wants you, so they both look at him and become nervous. The soldier takes them and goes to the captain, who is standing waiting for them away from the soldiers and carriages. And the captain tells them I suspect that the witch Karin is responsible for the disappearance cases in the city, so I want to use you as bait to expose her. So the two of them hear this words while shocked. After that, the captain takes them and goes to the witch Karin, so Karin welcomes them with a cunning smile, and invites them to dinner so she can get to know Selena better. After a while, the three of them sit at the dining table, and Selena is amazed by the beauty of the food, and she tells her thank you for your hospitality to us. I was surprised when I saw the soldiers coming to arrest me. I felt they were gonna kill me already. So Karin replies to her that was a possible outcome. We were afraid that you would use your cursed eyes and control the villagers. But we changed our opinion when we saw you, because you are a kind girl and there is no fear from you. And I will not issue a decision to kill you when you are such a beautiful girl, besides your beautiful hair and your clear eyes. And Karin smiles a terrifying smile, and tells her that is why I will use you in my personal experiments. And suddenly Selena and Dolan faint because of the drug that Karin put in the food. At the same time, the guard captain enters to Christina and Olivia while they are sitting talking. So Christina asks him angrily, so where are Dolan and Selena? And what are you doing here now? So he tells her in the recent period, cases of women disappearing suddenly have spread, and this is because of a witch who is said to be over 300 years old. But the strange thing is that this witch is human, and humans do not live all this long, and this means that she uses forbidden magic to possess the bodies of beautiful women, and by that she will be able to live longer while remaining beautiful, before her beauty disappears. And now this witch wants the Lamia so she can continue her life. So Christina hears this and becomes terrified for Selena. So the captain continues his words, come on quickly, there is no time, we must go arrest her before she does anything to her. On the other side, in a terrifying room full of magical runes on the ground, Karin takes the knife and goes to Selena, who is sleeping on the bed and completely unconscious, and as soon as Karin gets close to her to cut her into pieces and steal her body, Dolan suddenly wakes up from the fainting, and breaks the restraints on him, and warns her not to get close to Selena. So Karin looks at him in surprise because he woke up from the drug, and was also able to break the restraints. Dolan looks at the magic on the ground, and smells the scent of blood in the place, and tells her you look used to these actions, how many women have you killed until now? But Karin throws the knife at him, but Dolan manages to avoid it, and asks her again with a sharp tone, how many women did you kill? And what did you do to them? So she replies, I stopped counting after 100, and I killed them for my research. Every woman I killed possessed something beautiful in her body, so I gathered all of them into my own body. And that is what makes my appearance beautiful, meaning I have this hand from a spider woman, and my legs from human-like beings, and I chose this Lamia to complete my research and remain beautiful forever. Selena also wakes up, and asks her while very angry, for this reason you killed all of them. You deceived all the women just like you did with me. But Karin takes her words with mockery and replies sarcastically, as if she does not care about her feelings. So the two of them remove the earpiece from their ears, and tell her this device transmits sound. And by now the guard captain is coming to arrest you. Suddenly the guard captain storms the place, and orders the soldiers with him to arrest Karin. So headmistress Olivia tells her you were surely going to accuse Selena of the kidnapping cases happening, and then report that you killed her, because she tried to attack you, and after that use her body however you want. Karin tells them because you have beauty, you will never understand what I am doing, and how much I struggled to reach this form. I was ugly my whole childhood, so I kidnapped beautiful women and stole their beauty using magic. One after another, I built my beauty over 300 years, and managed to attract many young men to me, after I lost hope in my appearance. How dare you belittle my effort? Now I will show you the results of my 300 years of research. And suddenly Karin transforms into a giant terrifying monster, containing parts of the girls she killed. She screams at them, and orders them to hand over the Lamia immediately, and threatens them that if they do not do that, they will become part of her body like the other girls. So Selena uses the magic from her eye and controls Karin, but Selena cannot endure her power for long, and Karin manages to break free from her control, and lunges with her hand to grab her, but quickly Christina rushes to her while holding her sword, and cuts off her finger limbs. So Karin screams in pain, but she quickly regenerates her hands and attacks her. So Christina uses her magic and lunges at her, and manages to cut parts of her body. Karin looks at her and becomes even angrier, and transforms into a stronger monster and attacks Christina with tremendous magical power. So Dolan creates 2 magic circles on the ground, and orders Christina to retreat backward, so she does not get harmed by her powerful attack, and he becomes furious at Karin and activates his magic, and creates a circular barrier and traps her inside it, and launches magical arrows at her, and manages to destroy Karin. The next day, Dolan is sitting with Selena teaching her how to read, but Selena becomes tired from too much learning, and after a while, the guard captain and headmistress Olivia enter them, and the guard captain apologizes for using them as bait to arrest Karin, and gives Selena a paper, which is a security approval, and by that Selena can live in the village without problems. So Selena looks at the paper and is extremely happy. After that, they all go and meet a person named Dinzel, who is the son of the witch Majuro, and he greets Dolan and welcomes him, and offers them to go on a tour around the city, and while they are in the market, there is a child walking with his mother, holding some vegetables in his hand. So one falls from him to the ground, so Selena bends to pick it up, and gives it to him with a pure smile on her face. But as soon as she gets close to him, the child's mother rushes and pulls him away quickly, and screams loudly Lamia. So the people look at her and become terrified, so Dolan goes to her to comfort her, but Selena smiles at him. After they finish their tour in the city, the guard captain thanks them for their help. So Denzel suggests to Dolan that he joins the Magic Academy, and tells him I spoke with the headmistress about this matter. Because your magical power is truly exceptional, and it would be unfair to leave it without training, but Dolan becomes confused, and asks him to give him some time to think. So Headmistress Olivia goes to him and whispers in his ear, and tells him your inner power. If you want to use the power you have and help people, then you must join the academy. So Dolan hears this while shocked, and suspects that Olivia knows something about his previous life. So Selena looks at Dolan sadly, because she does not want Dolan to leave and abandon her. After that, they ride the carriage to return to the village again, so Dolan sits silently thinking about the matter, so Christina advises him to join the academy, but Dolan knows that the academy is the best place for him, yet he is confused because of his love for the village and its people, and he does not want to leave it, so Selena hears their words and sits sadly. At night, one of the soldiers of Elf Village stands in front of a group of monsters, and he is standing terrified and does not know what to do. Then a monster suddenly lunges at him and kills him, so his friend goes to check on him. But he finds that he is already dead, and he also finds himself surrounded by monsters, so he looks at them while confused, and asks them loudly who exactly are you. After a while, the soldier's captain returns to the forest, and he stands in a state of shock when he sees all the soldiers dead from a powerful attack. But he notices a soldier who is not dead yet, so he rushes to him and asks him what happened. So the soldier replies with difficulty a group of monsters attacked us, and then the soldier dies, so the captain says we must inform the tribe leader. The next day, Christina and Dolan are sitting training the village children in combat, so Selena looks at Dolan with great sadness, because she is thinking about Denzel's offer to him, and she asks herself in a sad tone, will Dolan really leave and abandon me? And after they finish the training, Christina goes to Dolan, and asks him that they go explore the forest, because she heard that there are many strong monsters there, and she wants to test her strength against them, but he warns her that the forest is more dangerous than she expects, and there is no need for her to enter it. But Christina keeps insisting until Dolan finally agrees. After that, they go on a journey to explore the forest with Balin, and after a while, the captain takes some soldiers and separates from Dolan and his friends, and while they are walking, one of the animals with the soldiers escapes from them. So the soldier goes after it to bring it back, and suddenly he finds that this animal is thrown toward him, and there are strong scratch marks on its body, and a giant tiger appears in front of him, so the soldier looks at it, and is terrified of it, and the tiger lunges at him, but quickly Captain Balin rushes, and strikes it with his hammer, and he manages to kill it. He goes to the soldier to check on him, but suddenly one of the monsters that killed the soldiers of Elf Village appears, and it attacks Balin. And at the same time, Dolan and the others hear the captain scream, so they run quickly to see what is happening, and when they reach there, they find Balin sitting on the ground injured, and the monster is in front of him. So Dolan uses his magic and launches it at it, and he manages to paralyze its movement, and Christina lunges at it and cuts off its head, and she asks Dolan while surprised, what is this creature? This is the first time I see it. So he replies to her, this is not a monster, this is from the inhabitants of the demon world, and its mission is to scout the surface of the earth, and these creatures are stronger than any other monsters here. I ask you not to mention this to the villagers, so that fear does not spread among them. At night, there is a meeting with the officials in the village after what happened today, so the village ruler enters them, and reassures them about Balin, so Christina asks him, do these creatures appear often in the forest? So he replies, no, this is the first time I even hear about them, but the problem is that Balin is our leader, and the strongest soldier among us, and despite that he was severely injured by this creature, so Dolan thinks and says to himself, the tiger that appeared is rare, and also the appearance of demons is the first time we see them. Something dangerous is happening in this forest, and we must know what it is. As soon as Majuro enters them, Dolan stands up and asks her to go explore the forest, to know what is happening inside it, but Majuro refuses, because the forest has now become much more dangerous than before, and if he goes alone he will most likely die, but Dolan insists on going there, so Majuro agrees but with one condition, which is that he takes someone strong with him. Christina stands up and offers herself to help, but the village ruler strongly refuses that she goes with him, because if anything happens to her there will be a problem with the academy. because of his promise to them that he will protect Christina, so Selena stands up and offers her help with great enthusiasm, and reminds them that she can use magic, and besides that she has a cursed eye through which she can control monsters, and there is no one more suitable than her to accompany Dolan, so the village ruler agrees to their proposal, and wishes them safety. The next day, Dolan and Selena begin their journey, and while they are walking at the edge of the forest, suddenly Christina appears in front of them, so they both look at her in surprise, and Dolan asks her, did not the ruler forbid you from leaving the village? So Christina tells him it is impossible, that the village is in danger and I do not offer help. I felt belonging to this place, and also the way people treat me always makes me want to sacrifice myself to protect them. After a while they enter inside the forest, and they encounter a group of demon monsters, and they begin killing them one after another. And after they finish off those monsters, Christina calls to them, and points for them at another giant creature. But strangely, Selena goes and in her hand is a piece of fruit, and she gives it to that creature. So Christina looks at her in amazement, and she cannot believe herself, because this is the first time she sees such an obedient monster. And when she looks at Dolan, she finds the children of that creature playing with him, so Christina becomes even more surprised. After that, they sit together with the creature and its children to eat, and while they are sitting having lunch, suddenly a fairy is thrown toward them, and when they go to her to check on her, the fairy advises them to run away quickly. But after moments a demon appears in front of them, so Dolan and Christina go toward him to kill him, but they find themselves surrounded by a group of monsters, so Dolan releases magic from his hand, and Christina lunges at them, and they manage to kill a large number of them, but still the monsters have not ended, and a demon goes toward Dolan to attack him. And when he gets close to him, another hidden monster appears from behind and jumps on him. So Dolan grabs it by its head, and turns his hand into the hand of the great dragon without anyone noticing, and presses hard on its head and manages to kill it. After they finish, they go to the fairy, and she tells them that this demonic creature suddenly started chasing her. So Dolan thinks for a bit, and says surely these creatures are the reason for the changes happening in the forest, but still they are just scouts, and surely the stronger demons are coming soon. And while they are talking, they feel that someone is watching them, so Christina puts her hand on her sword to prepare for combat. But quickly Dolan realizes that these are the fairies' people, so he pulls out his sword and places it on the ground. And when Christina sees him, she does the same, so the fairies' people appear in front of them, who are from Elf Village, and the leader of this tribe, whose name is Gio, goes to them and calls out to the fairy. Gio thanks them for helping her, and tells them this forest belongs to us. Why did you come here? So Dolan introduces himself to him, and tells him strong monsters started appearing in our village, so we said surely something strange is happening in the forest, so that is why we came here, because we want to explore it. But I was supposed to ask for your permission first. I apologize for what happened. So Gio replies to him, I cannot blame you for coming here for that reason, but I ask you to leave now, because the forest is in a dangerous state, due to the appearance of demon forces, which we are currently waging war against. Christina gets angry at him and grabs him firmly, and shouts at him and asks him, are you strong enough to face that number of monsters? Will you really be safe? Even your village must be in danger right now while we are talking. So Selena rushes to her quickly to calm her down, before the soldiers become afraid of them. Dolan thinks for a bit, and says as long as there is an army of demon scouts, then this indicates the existence of gates from the demon world here. And if all those gates open, many stronger monsters will come out of them. But I will try to destroy them before that happens. I must use my dragon power without hesitation, even if people discover the power I have and expel me from the village. And Dolan also goes to Gio, and offers him that they help them, because this matter is much bigger than their power. Gio's sister goes to him, and asks him to agree to Dolan's request. So Gio looks at his soldiers, and finds that they also have no problem with his sister's opinion. So Gio gives up and is forced to agree to Dolan's request, and extends his hand to shake his hand. So the three of them become happy, because they will help them. But before Dolan shakes Gio's hand as well, suddenly tremors happen in the ground, and a strong light comes out from the middle of the forest. So Dolan says unfortunately, it seems the gate has opened, and the demons I was afraid of will come out. So Gio orders them to go to Elf Village quickly to save it. So Dolan uses wind magic so they can reach there as fast as possible. At the same time, 3 powerful demon creatures come out, so one of them named Jillen says we came here to take control of the forest, and to do that we must kill all its creatures first. By the way, why did Jorg not come out with us? So a demoness named Refleia replies to him, he has not arrived yet. I think the amount of magical energy he has slows his speed. I am sure he will destroy the forest as soon as he comes out. A demon named Giolad suggests to them that they do a challenge until Jorg arrives, which is that they kill the largest number of the elf tribe. So Refleia agrees to the challenge, but Jillen tells them I will wait for Jorg first. On the other side in the elf tribe, The soldiers fight the demon scout armies, and they manage to kill a large number of them. But unfortunately their number is bigger than expected, and while they are fighting, a giant monster appears in front of them, which is Giolad, one of the 4 demon knights, and he turns his hand into a powerful spear, and lunges at them quickly. So the elf soldiers try to shoot arrows at him to stop him, but not a single arrow affects him, and Giolad strikes them with all his strength, and manages to destroy their city wall. Giolad laughs at them mockingly and boasts in front of them about his tremendous power, and jumps on one of the soldiers. So that soldier looks at him terrified, and realizes that it is his end, and Giolad prepares his hand shaped like a spear, and brings it down on him to kill him, and at the last moment, plant branches appear and manage to restrain him, so Giolad tries to break free from them, but he cannot completely because of their strength, and suddenly the Queen of Flowers appears in front of him, whose name is Diodora. At the same time, while Dolan and Gio are running to reach the village before the demons destroy it, Gio feels that there is an attack on the village, so they try to run faster to reach it, but they encounter a group of monsters in front of them, so Dolan uses his magical arrows, and Christina lunges at them with her sword to kill them, and Selena uses her cursed eye to control them. But the monsters are more than necessary, and this way it will take them a long time to destroy all of them. So Dolan takes out from his pocket the magical crystals he took from the swamp monster, and gives them to Selena and Christina, and tells them we will use these crystals to kill the monsters faster. And indeed they manage to finish them quickly, after each one of them used their own magic. On the other side, Diodora stands in front of Giolad, and tells him angrily, "Do you know the amount of destruction you caused? You killed plants and insects as you came, and you also want to steal the forest from us. You committed many mistakes, and that is why I will kill you." And Diodora attacks him with a sharp plant branch like a spear, but suddenly Refleia appears at the last moment and kills her plants, which were binding Giolad, so Diodora looks at her shocked, and tries to summon the forest flowers to fight them. But she is shocked when she sees plant leaves and flowers falling on her, because Refleia killed them as she came, so Diodora looks at her angrily, and orders the branches to attack her, and tells her, "I will make you pay for killing my family and friends." Refleia jumps to dodge her attacks and laughs mockingly at her, so Diodora becomes even angrier at her words, and gathers all the plant power and lunges at her, but Refleia creates a defensive barrier from her magical energy, and manages to stop the branch attack, and tells her, "What you do not know is that I am also the Lady of Flowers in the demon world," and Refleia spreads her magical energy over the plants to kill them, but Diodora does not despair, and attacks her again with all her power. So Refleia mocks her again for her weak attacks, but this time Diodora manages to injure her face, so Refleia puts her hand on the blood coming from her face, and looks at it very angrily, and tells her, "How dare you disfigure my beauty like this? You committed a great mistake that will lead to your death." So both of them release their magical energy, and prepare for a greater battle. But suddenly Giolad interferes because of his boredom while waiting for them, and turns both his hands into spears, and lunges with all his strength at Diodora, so she tries to create a barrier of plants to block his strike. But the strike is stronger than she expected, and he manages to destroy the barrier easily, so she tries to escape quickly, but Refleia catches up to her and strikes her with consecutive blows, so Diodora falls heavily to the ground, and looks at the wound in her body caused by Refleia and feels intense pain. And because of this injury Diodora cannot continue the battle. Giolad and Refleia take advantage of her weakness, and lunge at her with all their power, so Diodora feels sad because she did not want to die without avenging her family and friends. But suddenly Dolan descends from the sky in front of them, and manages to save Diodora at the last moment, so the demons look at him and are shocked. Dolan goes to Diodora to check on her, but when Giolad sees him he gets angry at him because he stopped the battle, and he turns his hand into a spear and attacks him with it. And suddenly Christina appears with her sword and strikes Giolad with it, so Dolan takes advantage of her disabling him, pulls out his sword and strikes him in the neck, and he manages to wound him. Refleia comes from behind Dolan to kill him, but Gio shoots an arrow at her and saves Dolan, and Refleia is thrown far away affected by that arrow. And while the war is going on, suddenly a huge magical energy comes out from the demon world gate, and the fourth and strongest of them comes out, which is the demon Jorg. Giolad says, "I will kill you before Jorg comes here." So Selena appears with her magical energy, and summons giant snakes from the ground and attacks Giolad, and while she is trying to kill him, the demon Jillen comes from behind her. And as soon as Selena sees him she becomes afraid of him, and she cannot control the snakes well, and this allows Giolad to escape from them easily, and he turns his hand into a spear, and attacks her quickly, and is about to kill her, but at the last moment, Christina appears again and blocks his strike, and she manages to save Selena with difficulty. Christina uses her magic and turns her sword into a stronger sword, and begins her battle with the demon Giolad, and he tries to strike her with his spear-like hand. But Christina dodges it, moves behind him and jumps on him, and stabs her sword into him. But Giolad does not die and manages to heal himself, and he gets angry at her and tells her I will cut you into pieces. On the other side, Selena summons a giant hand from the ground and grabs the demon Jillen and fixes him in place, and uses her magic and throws it at him. So a small explosion happens, and Selena thinks that she has finished him, but Jillen is not affected by these attacks, and he laughs mockingly at her and at her weakness. So Selena gets angry at him when she hears his words, and summons her snakes and orders them to attack him, so they move and wrap around Jillen. Jillen is still not affected by their attacks, and he mocks Selena even more because she cannot choke him, and tells her, is that all you have? How did you inherit the curse of the snake? I know that the Lamia can kill their enemy easily, but you are a weak girl. And Jillen escapes from her snakes, and grabs his axe and brings it down on Selena, but quickly Dolan lunges at him and blocks the strike with his sword, and moves behind him and strikes him with a punch using dragon power, and he manages to throw him far away. Suddenly the fourth demon Jorg descends from the sky, and stands in front of Dolan with his magical power emanating from him, and he draws his swords and prepares for battle. And Dolan quickly lunges at him and tries to break through his defense and strike him with his sword, but Jorg brings down his giant sword on him, and with difficulty Dolan blocks the strike, and uses dragon power to push him away. So Jorg stands still in shock and asks what was that I just saw, and Dolan steps back and asks himself how did he notice my dragon hand. Dolan does not waste time thinking, and lunges at him again with his sword and tries to break through his armor, but Jorg pushes him away, so Dolan throws magical energy at him and causes an explosion, and he stops and asks himself did I kill him now? But Jorg appears with almost no scratches, and manages to survive the explosion. And Jorg tells him in surprise, I am surprised by your ability to attack me. I have not met someone strong on the surface for a very long time. I doubt that you are human at all. Dolan tells himself that he will not be able to defeat him in his human form, but if he uses his dragon power he will destroy the entire forest. But Jorg does not waste more time and attacks him, quickly trying to kill him. But as usual Dolan blocks his attacks every time, dodges his consecutive strikes, waits for the right moment, and attacks Jorg quickly, and manages to wound him in the stomach, but it is not enough. Jorg gets angry at him and starts gathering his magical power, and Giolad and Refleia take advantage of Dolan not focusing on them, and they jump into the air together, start gathering their power, and attack him with one combined attack using all their magical energy. So Dolan uses part of his dragon power, uses wind magic and releases it at them, and he easily nullifies their attack. So Giolad and Refleia stand shocked because he destroyed their attack without any effort, and Dolan fires a wind projectile at them, and manages to throw them far away. When Dolan looks at Jorg, he finds him summoning a massive power from the sky and the earth, and releasing a tremendous energy and bringing it down on Dolan, and he asks him will you be able to block this attack? So Dolan calms himself, grabs his sword with both hands and raises it upward, and uses his power to block the attack, and he actually manages to stop it easily, so Jorg looks at him in a state of shock and amazement. Jorg tells him I cannot believe you blocked that attack. It is one of my strongest attacks, but I am tired of this fight. I know you will not release all your power, so you do not destroy the forest, so we will withdraw now. But we will return to the surface within 3 days, with a very strong demon army. I want you to use this time to increase your power, because I will come and destroy the entire surface world. And then the 4 demons leave and head toward the gate. After a while Gio takes Dolan and the others and goes to the ruler of the elf village, and they find him sitting with the other tribe rulers to discuss the fate of the forest. And suddenly Director Olivia enters, and the 3 of them look at her in surprise, and ask her what are you doing here? She tells them I was born in the elf village. But I left the forest and went to live in the city, but I rushed here when I learned what was happening. So the ruler interrupts their talk, and tells them let us focus on what matters. We do not want to wait the 3 days that those demons set. So tomorrow we will go and close all the gates, and now we will gather the strongest soldiers we have, to destroy them completely. Then we can return to our normal lives again, and we cannot do this without your help. And of course the 3 of them welcome helping them, and Director Olivia reassures them as well that she requested forces from the kingdom to help them in the war against the demons. But they will be delayed a bit before they arrive here. On the other side in the demon world, Giolad and Refleia are sitting angrily because of their inability to win, and they keep destroying the demon scout monsters to vent their anger on them. So Jorg says I enjoyed fighting Dolan very much. It has been a long time since I fought a battle like this. In addition to his combat abilities and magical energy, he reminded me of when I was a soldier in my previous life. The great white dragon appeared to help us in our war against the demons. The moment I saw him I was amazed and stunned by his abilities. I remember that the demons used to tremble as soon as they heard his name. I cannot believe that he has become inside a human now. At the same time, Dolan goes to Diodora, who is standing in front of some flowers, so she asks him, "Why did you come here now? I am not in a good mood to talk to anyone, and I warn you to not come near me." So Dolan replies, "I came here to help you heal the wound you have." And he puts his hand on her, and gives her some of his magical energy, and he manages to heal her wound. So Diodora thanks him, and tells him sadly, "Refleia killed my friends and my family. She killed flowers that did not deserve to die. That is why I must take revenge on her. I am supposed to take their rights, all of them." At night, Dolan wakes up from sleep, but he does not find Selena sleeping in the bed next to him, so he gets up to look for her, and finds her sitting tense on the balcony alone. So when he goes to her, he is stunned by the beauty of the elf village at night, and he sits with her for a bit to talk to her, and asks her, "I noticed that you are very disturbed since we returned from the battle. I apologize to you for making you fight with us." So Selena replies, "I could have killed Jillen then. All I had to do was just press harder on him using the snakes. But I could not do it, even though I know that the people of the elf village were harmed because of him. I could not end his life easily, and I stood in my place." Dolan tries to comfort her so she does not become more sad, and gives her a magical crystal he made himself, so she can fight with it tomorrow, and Dolan goes to her and puts it on her hand. So Selena looks at him and smiles at his face, and thanks him very much for this gift, and promises him that she will not hesitate tomorrow, and she will fight with them with all her strength. The next day, leader Giolad goes and gives a speech to the soldiers, to raise their level of enthusiasm and strength, so the soldiers get excited and shout loudly, and during that, Director Olivia explains the plan to Dolan and his friends and informs them that there are 4 gates leading to the demon world, so they will split into groups and close these gates, and then they move in carriages, and as soon as they reach the first gate, Selena gets down from the carriage they are riding in, to destroy this gate, and she tells Christina and Dolan, "Go you to the second gate. I will go help Gio and the soldiers so we can close it," and Selena looks at the magical crystal she took from Dolan, and promises him that she will give all her effort in today's battle. At the same time, Gio and the soldiers are fighting the demon Jillen, but they cannot even keep up with his power, but at the right moment Selena arrives to help them, and she uses her magic and summons many rocks and throws them at the monster. On the other side, Diodora goes to face Refleia, who is sitting waiting for her impatiently, and Diodora tells her, "I came here to take revenge for my friends and my family that you killed. I will never let anyone other than me kill you." So Refleia brings out plants from the underworld, and creates a large barrier around them so no one can escape from them or enter their fight. Refleia starts the battle, and uses her magic and throws it at her, so Diodora tries to dodge her attacks, but Refleia throws stronger magic at her. So Diodora creates a barrier from her plants, but it is not enough to stop her attack, and Diodora's barrier is destroyed, and she is thrown away by the force of the hit. So Refleia mocks her, because Diodora is very weak compared to her power, and throws magical arrows at her. But this time Diodora manages to block her attack, and lunges at her using her branches, but Refleia absorbs the power of the plants and manages to stop her attack, and laughs at her mockingly again, and tells her, "This way you will never even injure me. You are very weak compared to me." Diodora looks at her with eyes full of sparks, and brings out new plants loaded with black flowers, and gathers her magical power. So Refleia sees her and laughs, and tells her, "I am tired of fighting already. You are wasting too much time. I will attack you now and kill you." And the two of them start attacking each other using their magical energy. But it is clear that Refleia's energy is stronger, and she pulls all the energy from Diodora's body, so she begins to die slowly. Suddenly Refleia feels that something is trying to come out of her body, and indeed black flowers begin to come out of her body, and this causes severe pain to her. So she asks in shock and pain, "What are these things coming out of my body?" So Diodora replies, "I already decided the battle before I even started it. Do you not remember when I attacked you with a branch in the last battle? At that moment I planted the seeds of the black flowers inside you, and when you took from my magical energy, I made them grow inside your body, and suddenly Refleia dies after the flowers that came out of her body crushed her. After that Diodora falls to the ground, and suddenly she is surrounded by a group of scout monsters, but Diodora is no longer able to fight after that, because Refleia took most of her magical energy, and she surrenders to her inevitable fate. But suddenly magical arrows fall from the sky on the monsters and kill them all, and Dolan descends from above with dragon wings coming out of his body, but Diodora cannot comprehend anything and faints. After a while, Diodora wakes up from sleep, and finds herself inside a magical circle on the ground, made by Dolan so she can heal from her wound. So Diodora thanks him, and asks him in surprise, "You are not human, are you?" So he replies, "I just have dragon power inside me from my previous life. Stay here so you can heal completely. I will go to close the main gate." On the other side, the forest tribes are fighting the demon Giolad, but they are very weak compared to him, and he manages to kill a large number of them. and turns his hand into a spear and releases magical energy from it, and he is about to kill the rest. But suddenly Christina appears riding the carriage, and rushes toward him and crashes into him, and lunges at him with her sword and tries to pierce his defense. But Giolad manages to block her, so Christina activates magic and summons her stronger sword, and the battle begins with a fast attack from Giolad, but Christina jumps and dodges it, and attacks him with her great sword, but he manages to block it. Giolad gathers his magical energy and throws it at Christina, but she dodges it and attacks him with several strikes, and manages to wound him all over his body, but Giolad uses his magic to heal himself, and tells her, this power of yours reminds me of the superhumans. Those humans were superior to normal people in strength and intelligence, and they were always our enemies, and they also killed many of us, and even the strongest dragon in the world at that time. Then their leader went and stabbed his sword into its heart, so Christina looks at him in shock. She soon smiles at him, and thanks him for letting her know her origin, and Christina releases magical energy she has never used before, and lunges at the monster, and strikes him again and again, and cuts off all his limbs. Then she attacks him again, and manages to cut off his head and kill him. At the same time, Selena is hanging on one of the tree branches, because a branch pierced her body. Leader Gio and his sister go to remove her from the tree, so Selena wakes up from sleep, but she does not know what is happening, or where she is, and as soon as Selena looks at her body, and sees the branch inside her, she feels extreme panic, so Gio goes to her and carries her, but Selena screams from the intense pain, and suddenly Dolan's magical crystal lights up and heals her wounds, so the two of them are amazed, and Gio's sister approaches Selena, and asks her to run away from here and not look back, because she does not want her to die, so Selena tries to resist the pain, but she cannot at all. We return to Dolan again, who finally reaches the main gate, and finds Jorg sitting there waiting for him. So he tells him, when I saw my master fighting you in the previous life, I really wished to face you myself, and now that I became human, I can hold my sword and stab it into your heart. I know that you cannot release your full power here, so you do not destroy the forest, so come with me to the demon world, so we can face each other with full power, and indeed Dolan responds to him and goes with him. At the same time, Selena looks at herself, after the commander's sister Gio left her and walked away, to go fight the demon Jillen, and Selena asks herself sadly, I am scared and I do not know what to do. I do not want to hurt anyone, but I also do not want to leave them to die. I want to run away from here, but I cannot leave them alone, and Selena starts crying, and her tears fall on her hands, and she blames herself for not being able to help Gio and the soldiers, and also for disappointing Dolan and Christina, whom she promised she would become stronger. While she is talking to herself, the soldiers gather in one single strike to hit the demon Jillen, but the strike is not strong enough to affect him, so Jillen looks at them and mocks them and their weakness, and sharp tools come out of his body, so the soldiers look at him and become terrified by the sight. Then Jillen tells them, I have wasted too much time fighting you, so now I will kill you and end this battle immediately, and he attacks them with force, and the soldiers scream at the top of their voices from his strike. From the intensity of their screams, Selena hears their voices, so she becomes very afraid for them and tries to move to go help them, but she cannot walk because of her injury, and she asks the magical crystal to grant her strength so she can go help them, and she says, this time I will not be afraid again. I do not want to see anyone else get hurt more than this. So the crystal starts glowing and grants Selena power. At the same time, Jillen is holding the commander Gio by his head, lifting him up with one hand, and throwing him far toward one of the trees, and he approaches him and raises his axe and brings it down on him. But at the last moment, Selena summons chains from the ground and binds Jillen, so Gio and his sister look at her in shock, and they ask her, what are you doing here? And Selena tells them excitedly, I am still able to fight. Jillen then says, finally you came back again. I wish to kill you with them, and he breaks free from the chains, and attacks her using his swords, but quickly Selena summons the serpents and destroys those swords, and a giant hand comes out of the ground and strikes him with it, and she asks Gio's sister to take the soldiers and escape from here quickly, because her magical power is terrifying and could destroy them as well. Jillen stands up angrily, and he also begins releasing all of his magical power. So Selena uses her eye to freeze Jillen in place, and she summons all of her serpents and attacks him, but Jillen refuses to surrender easily, and he continues resisting until his last breath, so all the serpents unite together into one body, and Jillen looks at them in shock, and says this looks like the great white dragon. Then those serpents go toward him and devour him, and Jillen dies in the end, so Selena exhales and looks at the sky, and says, I have fulfilled my promise with Dolan. After that, Selena and Gio's forces move after they killed Jillen, heading toward the main gate, and on the way they meet Christina and Diodora, so Gio asks them, where is Dolan? And they reply, he went ahead of us to the gate. We must catch up to him quickly. On the other side at the main gate, the director Olivia is walking in front of it, and when she finds no one guarding it, she concludes that Dolan took Jorg and went to the underworld, and while she is inspecting the place, the ruler of the elf village arrives with some of the other tribe leaders, and they inform her that they managed to destroy 3 gates completely, and only this gate remains. But Olivia stops them because Dolan is inside fighting Jorg. So the leader of the spider kin says this is our best chance to close this gate quickly, because right now there is no guardian on it, and also if Dolan loses the battle we will be in a big problem. The forces reach the main gate, and they are shocked when they learn that the leaders want to close the gate, while Dolan is inside it, and they all object to them. But the ruler of the elf village tells them we have no other choice, and there might be an army already coming here, as we speak, and if Dolan loses the battle the forest will be completely destroyed, so there is no need for us to risk our lives. Selena then tells them angrily, Dolan will never lose, he is risking his life for you, and if he cared about himself, he would have waited for the reinforcements coming from the city, but he is fighting to protect the forest, and if you close the gate now, you will have betrayed him and abandoned him easily. And when they hear her words they are affected, and the rulers are forced not to close the gate, hoping that Dolan wins the battle against Jorg. On the other side, Dolan stands in front of Jorg in the demon world, and both of them prepare for battle, and Dolan transforms parts of himself into the great white dragon, so Jorg tells him I cannot believe I am standing in front of you and fighting you. Now we will see if I can defeat you with my full power or not, and Jorg begins attacking him. But Dolan blocks his attack very easily, so Jorg summons his magical powers from the sky and the earth, and directs his swords toward Dolan, and launches that power at him, and Dolan deflects the strike when he swings his sword. After a while, Jorg tries to strike him with continuous attacks hoping they would affect him, but Dolan blocks them with complete ease, and strikes him with his dragon hand, and from the power of the strike, Jillen's face shatters and he is thrown far into a giant rock, and Jorg stands up again with his deformed body, and tells him I am not finished yet, now I will show you my strongest skill, I spent many years learning it. Jorg runs and jumps into the air, and releases his magical energy from his sword, and swings it at Dolan. But Dolan dodges it easily as if he is training, so Jorg gathers all the energies into the shape of a sphere and throws it at him, and Dolan blocks it with his hand, and releases a massive magical energy from his mouth, and attacks him with it, and from the power of the strike the entire place explodes. Despite that, Jorg does not surrender, and comes from behind him and runs toward him quickly, and tells him I will cut off your head now. So Dolan turns his face and swings his sword, and manages to cut off his hand, then jumps at him and cuts the rest of his limbs, and then uses his sword to split him in half. So Jorg tells him while crying, all my power was not enough to even injure you, but I enjoyed facing you, and then Jorg dies. At the same time, the Queen of Nightmares is sitting watching their battle, and says I finally found you, I thought you died forever, I am very happy that I will play with you again like old times. After that, Dolan comes out of the gate, and Selena runs to him and hugs him with tears in her eyes, and after a while, they all gather and focus their power on the gate, and manage to destroy it, and the soldiers rejoice that they managed to win the battle after suffering. And the tribe leaders thank Dolan and his friends. At night, there is a celebration in the elf village, so Dolan asks Selena how was your battle today, and she replies honestly I was trying to run away, but I tried to stand again and fight the demon, and I managed because of you and your support to defeat him. When I felt I could not continue, I held the crystal you gave me, and I felt that you were beside me and with me, and that is why I held on to hope. The next day, the director Olivia and the commander Gio stand to bid farewell to Dolan and his friends, and Olivia thanks him for helping them protect the forest, and asks him have you still not decided to join the Magic Academy? I am sure it will benefit you greatly. And he tells her honestly I have not decided yet, but I like the idea. Diodora then goes to him, and gives him seeds of the black flower, and tells him you can use them to increase your power or magical medicines. And one last thing, thank you for saving me twice before. Without you I would have certainly been dead. At night, the three of them arrive at the village, so Dolan tells them come let us rest for a bit, and then go to the village ruler to tell him what happened to us, and indeed Dolan heads to his house, and the moment he opens the door, the Queen of Nightmares is standing behind him, and she stabs her hands into him, so Dolan falls to the ground unconscious. The next day, Dolan wakes up from sleep, but his body is fine and nothing is wrong with it, and he gets up and washes his face to go take care of his crops, and while he is standing checking the plants, Selena goes to him and greets him. After that, Dolan goes and sits with the village children, and tells them a story about the great white dragon, and about his tremendous power and giant body, and after he finishes telling the story, Diodora goes to him, who is standing behind him with some friends to listen to the story, and she praises him for his ability to tell stories, and tells him you read it as if you lived the story exactly, so Dolan looks at her and smiles at her. After that, they sit down to eat together, so Selena asks Dolan that they go hunting with Commander Balin. So Dolan looks at her in surprise, and tells her why do you want me to go with you? You can face the monsters by yourself now, but Selena keeps insisting until he agrees. At sunset, Dolan goes on the hunting trip with Selena. So Selena points to an armored bear den in front of them, and she goes toward it and summons her serpents to attack the bear and kill it, so it tries to run and escape from them. But Commander Balin and some soldiers run toward it and strike it with their spears and kill it. So Dolan goes to them and asks them, "What are you doing? This bear did not attack anyone. Why are you killing it? Now the forest has become safe and there is no danger from it. That is why animals stopped harming anyone." Commander Balin yells at him and tells him, what if this bear attacked the village and killed one of the people? Anyway, these monsters pose threats to humans at any time, so Dolan looks at him unable to understand his words, because he cannot believe that Commander Balin could do this. So Selena tells him with a strange smile on her face, "There is no need to be upset, these monsters are harmful and must die." So Dolan looks at her in shock, and asks himself how can Selena say that? Selena never liked killing animals. After that, Dolan goes to his farm, and when he looks at the crops he finds them suddenly wilted, and asks himself how I just saw them this morning and they were fine. So Ari calls him and goes to him, and asks him why are you checking the crops now? Even though we are going to leave the village soon. So Dolan looks at her shocked, and asks her what do you mean? What are you saying? Who said that we are leaving the village? She tells him Magoro told us this decision, and honestly I do not know where we will go. It seems that everyone will look for a home on their own. So Dolan hears this and becomes very angry, and runs quickly to the village ruler to understand the matter. He finds him sitting with Magoro and Commander Balin, and asks them angrily, are you really going to leave the village and go? How can you do this? There is also nothing that guarantees everyone will find new homes. Why do you want us to separate from each other? All these years we spent, and the love that grew between us, you want to erase all of this in one moment. I thought you loved this village. Dolan looks at the faces of the people and finds them dark, and they tell him we cannot continue in the village here. You may be seeing the matter only from your own perspective, but we see this decision differently. So Dolan looks at them shocked, not knowing what is happening since the beginning of the day. The next day, the village prepares to leave the village, and Dolan goes with Ari to help her gather her belongings. So Ari asks him, why will you stay here in the village alone, and not leave like us? So he tells her, I loved the place here, and I cannot leave so easily. I will stay here to protect the village. After that, Dolan goes and says goodbye to his family, and they suggest that he comes with them. But Dolan tells them sadly, I will not change my mind. I decided that I will stay here and not leave. Send me a message when you find a new home so I can come visit you. So his mother goes to him and hugs him, and tells him you say that, but you will not come, because you are not a normal person, and you will live alone. So Dolan hears this and is shocked, and then Dolan says goodbye to them sadly. Dolan walks in the streets unable to believe himself, and looks at the village empty of his friends and family, besides its terrifying silence affecting him, and he goes to Selena at her house, and she finds him very tired and sad. So she prepares food for him and they sit and talk a bit, and while they are sitting eating, Dolan notices that Selena's belongings are not in their place. So he asks her about the reason, but before she answers, suddenly an explosion happens in the village, specifically in Dolan's house. So Dolan looks shocked. The two of them run toward it, and when they arrive they find Christina holding a torch and setting the house on fire. So Dolan asks her, why did you do this? So she tells him, I did not do this alone. The villagers also helped me. We see how attached you are to the place, so we burned your house so you leave the village like us. So Dolan becomes very angry, and tells her, I will never leave the village even if you burn my house. Christina goes toward his crops, and brings the fire closer to burn them as well. So Dolan runs toward her to stop her, and grabs her hand and asks her what happened to you, and asks Selena to help him convince Christina to stop what she is doing. So he finds Selena holding her bag, and telling him, I will also leave the village. Dolan goes to her and asks her why. We were fighting together so you could live here in the village. We can defeat any monsters that appear. Please stay with me. So Christina tells him, you are very stupid. None of us wants to live with you anymore. Everyone knows your truth. You will not be able to pretend to be human anymore, and Christina sets the crops on fire. So Dolan falls to the ground in heartbreak, unable to believe what is happening, and asks himself why. I did nothing wrong. I did my best for 16 years to help this village. Suddenly Dolan wakes up from sleep, but not in human form this time, but in the form of the white dragon, and looks at his hand and at the place around him, and asks himself, is this not the volcano where I used to live? And where is the wound the superhuman gave me? Was all of this just a dream? Was my human life that lasted 16 years a dream? Does that mean the people I love no longer exist? The Queen of Nightmares tells him, yes, all of this was a dream and you are not human. You are just a dragon who protects humans. It is time for you to return to your true identity again. But suddenly Selena breaks into the place and says, this is the first time I see a dragon. But I feel it looks like Dolan for some reason. I must be dreaming. Where am I anyway? Dolan asks her how did you come here, so she replies I went to sleep hoping to see you in a dream, and suddenly I found myself here. So Dolan asks her do you know who I am, so she tells him yes of course, you are Dolan from the village. We met for the first time when we were fighting the giant swamp monster together, and after that we sat and ate and thought about how I would live with you in the village again. And the villagers welcomed me because of you, and whenever I felt afraid you were beside me encouraging me. And when I was in danger you and Christina protected me. You are strong and very kind. Dolan lifts her and holds her close, and thanks her for what she did for him, and suddenly Selena feels sleepy, and then she falls asleep and leaves Dolan's world. So Dolan says I now know exactly what is happening. Surely since I saw that nightmare you must be the reason, what do you want from me? So the Queen of Nightmares appears, and tells him I came all this distance to kill you, but unfortunately Selena ruined it for me. You deserve that I show you nightmares like these. You used the superhuman to get rid of your life and you left humans and demons in your power. And even me, and now you want to live your life as if you did nothing. So he tells her you are actually right, I abandoned this life but in return, I want in my human life a family and friends who support me. I used to feel lonely while I was a dragon, but now, I will live my life as a human with the power of a dragon. When the Queen of Nightmares hears this, she laughs at him, and tells him but this is my world, and I will not let you return again unless you fight me. And suddenly a terrifying monster appears, and the Queen of Nightmares begins speaking. But quickly Dolan strikes the monster with his fist, and releases magical energy from his hand and throws it at him, and he manages to kill the monster very easily. So Dolan tells her you have no chance against me, I will now return to live my life again, and Dolan begins gathering his power, and strikes her and defeats her. Suddenly Dolan wakes up from sleep in his human form, and when Selena goes to him, Dolan asks her what would you do if we were on a hunting trip, and you encountered an armored bear. So Selena is surprised by his question, and thinks for a bit, and tells him, I would use my eye to control it, and then send it back to its home, because fighting would be dangerous for both of us. So Dolan looks at her and laughs very hard, a laugh he never laughed before. After that, he goes to Christina, and tells her that he finally decided that he will join the academy. So when Christina hears this she becomes happy, and asks him why did you take this decision? So he replies I dreamed a dream that I lost this village. So I said that I must join the academy and protect the people I love. I want to gain more knowledge and magic. So Selena hears their words while she is sad, and cannot believe that Dolan will finally leave her and go. After a while, the villagers stand to bid farewell to Dolan, so he tells them do not worry I will not be late, I will go take the test and come back quickly. So Selena looks at him with a sad look, and she is unable to speak, not even able to say goodbye like them. After that, Dolan moves and reaches the academy, and he sits taking the test, and while he is examining, the Queen of Nightmares comes to him. So he asks her why are you here now? I am trying to take an exam, so the Queen of Nightmares laughs at him, and tells him you will not be able to get rid of me so easily. Suddenly the teacher calls Dolan, and tells him why were you sleeping during the exam? Are you that confident in yourself? Stop wasting time and give me your paper and leave, you still have another exam tomorrow. I hope you put all your effort so you do not get expelled. On the other side, Selena goes with some of the villagers on a hunting trip. But she is very sad because of Dolan's departure, and she is not focused with them, so Commander Balin calls her to move quickly, but since Selena was distracted, she thinks he is calling her because a monster is attacking them, and she summons her serpents and strikes the soldiers, but she quickly realizes she made a disaster, and apologizes to them for what she did. Dolan's friend tells Aerie, Selena has been sad and distracted for a while. Was she shocked when she knew that Dolan will go to the Magic Academy? Why did she not go with him in the first place? So Aerie tells him you seem to forget that she is a Lamia, and it is known about Lamias that they are creatures who eat humans. I heard that people were afraid of her in the city streets when they were there. Dolan could never take her with him, and unfortunately if he passes the tests, he will not return for 2 years, and he might even find a job in the city, and never return. At night, Selena returns to her house, and sits on the ground preparing to read a book, talking about a monster people are afraid of, but there was a child who saw it as kind and not evil. So Selena says because Dolan taught me how to read, I will be able to read this book. Dolan is surely learning a lot now at the academy, and he will become a strong mage, all of this to help the village. He is truly an amazing person, and I wished I could go with him, but unfortunately I am a Lamia and people are afraid of me. I would stand in his way if I accompanied him, but it is okay I was on a journey to find a husband, because these are our village traditions and I must follow them. Selena looks at the pictures in the book, and thinks about Dolan while he was helping her. And Selena starts crying, and says sadly I wish to live with him, and take him to my village, but I cannot break his dream or his love for this place. And Selena gets up, and prepares her bag to leave the village. At the same time, Dolan is sitting on the balcony of his room, so Denzel comes down to him and tells him, I heard you finished the theoretical test quickly. I am excited to see you study here. So Dolan tells him, I still do not know if I will pass the test or not. But by the way, I have a question I want to ask you. Is it allowed to bring a monster to live with me during the study period? So he replies, yes, it is allowed. Students are permitted to have only one companion. The next day, Dolan returns to the village again and quickly goes to Selena's house and knocks on the door to tell her news that will make her very happy. But he finds that no one is inside, so Dolan opens the door and finds 2 letters on the table, one for the villagers and the other for Dolan personally. So Dolan opens his letter and finds Selena telling him, I apologize for leaving the village suddenly. When I saw you taking a step toward your future, I was motivated as well, and decided to continue my journey in searching for a husband. I could not stand in front of the village and say goodbye, so I left this letter. Thank you for everything. I was very happy that I met you and lived with you for a while. So when Dolan finishes reading the letter, he drops it from his hand and runs quickly to search for Selena, and heads toward the forest hoping to find her, and Dolan jumps into the air and calls her at the top of his voice, and transforms into the great white dragon to find her faster. At sunset, Selena goes and sits under the tree, and she is very sad because she left them, and suddenly she sees the shadow of a dragon flying in the sky, so Selena stands up frightened and tries to hide, and asks herself, what is this? Is this another demon, or the dragon that Dolan used to tell stories about? So Dolan comes from behind her and calls her, but when she hears him she becomes very startled, and screams at the top of her voice. After that, Dolan takes her to return to the village again, but Selena feels extremely embarrassed because Dolan surely read her letter, and while they are walking they pass by the swamp, so Dolan tells her, this view brings back memories to me. When I met you here for the first time, I saw you for a short time, but with you it felt like a long time. I apologize for deciding to join the academy suddenly. I should have discussed it with you first, but when I was in the exam, I asked Denzel a question, and learned that I can take you to live with me there. If you do not mind, I hope you come with me. So Selena's eyes shine, and she asks herself, can I really go with Dolan? But she tells him loudly, you do not understand anything. Lamias are creatures that eat humans. Do you know what people will say about you? Do you know what might happen if we walk in the street? What will you tell the students and teachers at the academy? You will never make any friends with me around. But suddenly Selena falls into the lake. So Dolan jumps quickly to save her, and tells her, I do not care about anything that happens in the city, nor do I care about friends. All I want is to see a new future with you. So Selena looks at him, unable to believe herself, and tries to hold back her crying but cannot, and Selena hugs him, and tells him while crying, I also want to go with you. After some time, Denzel goes to Dolan carrying a letter with the exam result, and the villagers stand in front of his house to know whether he passed or not. And when Dolan opens the letter, he finds that he actually passed, so Denzel goes to him and congratulates him. And after a while, Dolan and Selena go to Magoro to get married. So the marriage mark is drawn on Selena, and Selena looks at it and is extremely happy. After that, Dolan stands with Christina and Selena to say goodbye to the villagers, because they are heading toward the academy, and Dolan thanks them for always helping him, and wishes them safety. And after the carriage finally moves, Dolan looks at his villagers and cries, so Selena goes and wipes his tears, and the 3 of them smile at each other.